Hi, I'm Ella for BoardGameGeek, and we're back with Kevin Brewski from Ape Games, and we're gonna talk about Stygian Society, which is how are you gonna say, a diceless dungeon crawler, but not crawling out. I think crawling up. Am I right?
Yeah, that's right. So it's a cube tower game, not a dice tower game.
Mm.
And the party is represented by a hero character that climbs up the outside of the tower. And on each level of the tower, they encounter a different room. There's six total levels, and on the third level and sixth level are bosses. The third level is a mini boss, and the sixth level on top is the wizard that you have to beat to win the game.
Yeah, and I
Um,
imagine once
and
you're
then
going up, that it gets harder. Is that right?
Yeah, so the first two levels are uh, just regular rooms, and so they'll be pretty much the same as each other. The third level is the
Mm.
mini boss, the mid-level boss, and he's going to be tougher than the two rooms. And then once you get it to the
Mm.
floors five and four and five, those are going to be tougher than the previous. And then finally, in level six, it's certainly the toughest yet. Yes.
Right. Cool. Yes. And do we have like the regular characters in Dungeon Crawler? Do we have like a wizard, a brute, yeah, fairies, and what characters do we have?
Yeah, the base game comes with four characters, and it's a knight, a spell sling, which is the wizard, a
Hmm.
doctor, and a burglar.
Cool.
So it's pretty much the archetypes that you're used to. Except instead of
Yes.
having stats and rolling dice, what they're doing is they have different skills, and
Mm.
that's pretty weird because it looks like your card there is got holes in it.
Oh, because we're
Anyway,
using a green screen, so when it's
well, it's a
green,
green
it
screen, so any kind of green cubes are going to
yes.
any kind of blue cubes show up as holes. That's pretty weird. Okay, we'll deal with that. But you start out with three skills, and so you can see that the spell sling there, her level zero skill is a magic attack, and it tells what
Mm.
type. It says that she can target a enemy in either rank. There's two ranks for enemies, front rank and a rear rank, and she can. It tells her which cubes to drop. In her case, there's two white cubes and a gray cube, which is anything. All the characters are two-sided, so the female side is one and the male side is the other, but they're otherwise the exact same. It's just different art, like so.
Okay, cool. Yeah. And
And
what are
then
the
she's
actions that we
got
do? Yeah.
okay.
Oh, the burglar.
The burglar doesn't have an attack by default. What she does there is she basically assists other players by, which says when you add an extra cube to any action when you take that drops at least one hero cube into the tower. So whenever she takes a different action that allows her to drop cubes into the tower, she can drop a cube of any color. Gray is any color when she drops it
Mm.
when she drops it in. So she's good at assisting her own abilities as well as assisting other players.
Right. Okay.
I guess you could call
And
her
the
kind of the
accused.
bard character.
Right. 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 And we have the smaller cards. What are they? So there's the bigger cards and the smaller cards. They come
So the
with
smaller
ability.
cards that are next to it are different skills. So
Mm.
each character has a deck of skills leveled one to three. This particular skill is a level one knight skill, and there's a level two knight skill right there. So the level one knight skill is the harpoon punch, and it basically says take a target in the rear rank and move it to the front rank, then deal a wound to
Mm.
that target. Now,
Mhm.
each room has a front rank and a rear rank of enemies, and the certain skills can only affect certain enemies. So we don't have the room set up here yet, but that's okay. Um, so certain skills can only affect certain ranks. So if it says, yeah, there's the rooms right there. So flip that over. There we can see
Right.
it. And you can see the front rank has a yellow Stoker enemy, and the rear rank has a red enemy in it. And
Right.
so uh, as uh, you pick a skill, you pick a target, and then you're going to drop cubes into the tower based on the skill that you chose of your own and
Mhm.
whatever the room says to drop in. Like at the top of the room here, it says peril cubes, red, yellow, black. And so when you drop cubes for your own skill, you're also going to drop a red, a yellow, and a black cube into the tower, and whatever falls out the bottom, you can work with. Similarly, if what falls out the bottom can be used by the enemies, they can do the same thing.
Right.
That's a little
Okay.
far away. I can't see exactly what fell out. Is it just a red and a red and a
A
yellow.
red and a, oh, there it is. A red and a
A red and
green.
2 greens. Okay.
Right.
So if the skill that we chose was a skill that allows us to use 2 green cubes that fell out at the bottom, then we could use those. So as the hero, when I drop cubes in, it's going to say, okay, now whatever fell out the bottom, you can do stuff with. But sometimes there may not be enough stuff that fell out the bottom because cubes are going to get stuck in that tower
Right.
sometimes. And you see that what we dropped in didn't necessarily fall out. There's still stuff stuck up in there.
Which is pretty cool mechanically. Like it mimics what happens in battle. Like you can be like put full force in, but you never know how it comes out, like what the situation will
Right.
be, sort of, right?
Yeah. So it's got the
Yeah.
randomness of a dice dungeon crawl,
Mm,
but with the cool element of now you know that there's stuff stuck in this tower and you
yeah.
know it's going to fall out eventually, but you just don't know when, which
Yeah.
lends to the you say, well, there's a whole lot of white cubes
Tension.
in there, so maybe if I drop
Yeah.
these couple of green cubes in, all those white cubes will fall out in addition to the white
Right.
to the green cube.
Yeah. Do you think that we
So
can maybe do a turn so that we get an idea how it goes?
yeah, sure. I think that'd be fine. So we've got the
Mm,
enemy card set up. We would need to pull out those enemy cards from the room card has got 2 different types of enemies in it. It's got the which types of it looks like the Colossus and the Stoker. So we can pull those out. A yellow and from the it's called the monster card deck. So there's a Stoker in the front and a I don't remember what the other one was. Was it a Clank? I think so. It looks like that's what it looks like to me.
Stoker
Let's
and a
say it's a
crank.
Clank.
Yes. Yes.
So pull out the Clank card and the Stoker card, put those next to the room somewhere, and then we'll just do 1 turn based on those
Yes.
guys. So
Yeah.
why don't you play? You can pick one of the heroes to play, any of the 3.
Yeah.
The
I think
knight.
I'd like, yeah. Nikki can choose whatever she wants. I like usually being a thief, but but whatever is available there. I think which one is in front? What character is that? Sorry. So I'm playing
There's
the
the
Steel Fist, sort of the knight. So I'm the knight.
okay. So you can look at the knight character, and the knight character has 3 different skills. He's got the Steel Fist, and the other one that he can really use is the chained gauntlets. So you can pick one of those skills. The third one is we won't worry about that one for this 1 turn
Yeah.
game.
I'll use the chain
But
gauntlet then. Okay. So I
okay,
have the chain
so
gauntlet.
uh-huh.
Hmm.
You pick the chain gauntlet, and then the chain gauntlet says it's got 2 green plus 2 of any color. So 2 green plus 2 gray is you could put down 4. You could pick up 4 green. You could do 2 green and 2 white, 2 green and 2 blue.
Hmm.
I should say that there's 3 hero colors, which are green, white, and blue, and there's 3
Hmm.
enemy colors, which are black, red, and yellow. So
Yes.
all of the hero skills are going to drop white, green, and blue cubes, and all of the enemy
Hmm.
skills are going to drop red, yellow, and black. So I think probably a very fine move would be to pick up 4 green and to drop all of those, because if at
Right.
least 2 green fall out, then you're going to be able to wound an enemy. Now, at the
Right.
same time, the room says you have to also drop 1 green, 1 black, and 1 yellow. So pick up a green, black, and a yellow in addition to um, your 4 greens, and drop all 7 cubes into the tower.
Which is cool. And we can see it because it's top down. There you go. Oh, all my 4 went down. So
All
we
4
can
came
wound
through.
the.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's good. Now your chain gauntlet skill says that 2 greens are going to deal 3 wounds to your target.
Hmm.
So normally, if we were playing, we would have the there's little tiny markers for the room that we could say um, uh, that we would put on the room there. But we'll say that you targeted one of those stokers in the front, and I didn't see. Did any enemy cubes fall out at the same time, or was it only the
Only
green
green.
cubes?
It looks like it's only green.
That's pretty convenient. That means if
A
enough
yellow and a
other
black
cubes came out
came
for
out.
Oh,
enemies,
okay.
then the
Sorry.
enemies
There's a yellow and a black that came out also.
Okay, so one yellow and one black for that room. So it can't do anything. If we look at the Stoker says that it takes 3 yellow to do anything. We don't have 3 yellow, so nothing's going to happen. And the room says that you need a certain number of black in order to raise peril. So there's not enough black there either. So we're going to simply do the our action, which is
Mm-hmm.
the Chain Gauntlets. Chain Gauntlets says that if you pull 2 green cubes out of the field and put them away, that you can deal
Mm-hmm.
3 wounds to your target. So
Ah,
the Stoker, you'll see each of the Stokers has 4 wounds. So you'll do 3 wounds to one of the Stokers.
and how do I
Then,
represent that?
so there'd be a Stoker marker. You could put it on there. The underneath the yellow cards up on the right, there's there you
Oh,
go.
okay.
Put 3 of those in the front of that room, in the front rank. There you go. And then put a red in the back rank. Now,
And now
you
it
picked one of
represents a.
those to attack. And so you'll do 3 damage to one of them, and there's little heart tokens, the tiny little heart tokens in the above the status board. You'll put 3 of
Mm-hmm.
those by one of one of those 3. There you go. Now, your character can also do, it says you'll deal 3 wounds to your target plus 2 extra wounds for every 2 additional green that you spend from the field. So if you spend those last 2 green cubes, you could do 2 more damage to that Stoker and kill it if you
Okay.
wish.
I imagine this is actually pretty quick game. How long does a game take?
Um, we can play a game. We know what we're doing, and a lot of the time playing this game is deciding how to cooperate, because the
Right.
cube use is king in this game. And so you can say, well, I can drop these green cubes in for you to use on your turn if you end up using this particular skill. So there's a whole
Yeah.
lot of planning turns ahead. But we can normally play a game in about 2 hours.
Oh, cool. Okay. Not so it's a real dungeon crawler. Yeah.
It really is,
And
yeah. So it's a Kevin Wilson dungeon crawl.
very cool.
Yeah.
And there are actions that you can do, like abilities. So I would say that the side abilities are the smaller cards and the main abilities are the bigger cards. Can you do them in a specific order, or does the main ability activate first and then the secondary abilities, or
Okay,
just
so the main
equally?
ability you're talking about is the ability on the big card.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so you'll notice on the bottom of that card, it says 0 on it. That's your level 0
Mm,
skill, which is the
mhm.
default one that you're always going to get.
Right.
The
Okay.
other ones come from a big deck of skills that you have that you can select from as you level up. So
Right. How do you level
here,
up?
you on the status board there's a section for experience, and as you eliminate enemies, each enemy gives you a certain amount of experience. Like each Stoker
Right.
gives you 2 experience, for instance. So you would have gained 2 experience for the party. As the party gains XP, then everybody in the party, when you level up, everybody will level up at the same time. Similarly, when the party takes wounds, everybody takes wounds, and we all die together. If we end up
Oh.
if the top heart ends up passing the bottom heart, we end up as a party we lose the game. The other way to lose the game is if peril ends up getting to 20. That's the bottom tracker. And peril goes up every single time an enemy takes an action, or a lot of other things cause peril to go up as well.
Mm. What um puts up the peril? Would it be cards, or would it be the cubes coming out? Would it
Yeah,
be
the
the
cubes
level?
coming out, enemy cubes when they come out, like the red, green, and black cubes when they come out, can cause enemies to take their own actions. Like like the Stoker, for instance, is going to deal 2 wounds every time 3 yellows fall out are in the field.
Mm,
Causes 2 wounds
yeah.
to the party for every Stoker on the floor. So at the default, at the beginning of the game, had there been 3 cubes there, we would have a party have taken 6 damage, well, which is not good.
Right. Which is
And then peril goes up by 1 at the same time. So
yeah.
the room itself every time you'll notice that there's different peril levels in the room. So this
Mm,
particular room, I don't remember which one it is, looking at it, but you'll see that if we put it up to the camera, it's got 4, 8, 16, and 20. When peril gets up to 4, and we still haven't
mm-hmm.
eliminated the enemies, then we heal each enemy of 2 wounds. If peril gets
Right.
to 8, then we add 2 more stokers to the front rank, and so forth. If we ever get to
Yeah.
20, we lose the game.
Right. Is there any way to lower the peril?
No, peril never go. Well, almost never. Almost nothing causes peril to go down. It only ever goes up until you finish
Right.
the room. Once you finish the room, then we clean out the cubes from the field, and we turn peril back to 0 and start
Right.
up
And
on the
then you
next
go up.
run.
Cool. And you can just stop the game and do it again the next day, or does it carry it over and stuff? Or does it carry over from story to story? Because I guess there are several stories there from the stack, sort of stories in a
Yeah,
way, or like different
yeah.
scenarios.
There's a whole bunch of different rooms, and there's lower level rooms, upper level rooms, and then mid boss and wizard cards, and they're all shuffled
Mm,
together. And every time you play, it's going to be a very different experience. So, um, uh, yeah, there's not a campaign version of this game yet. But every time you play, it's very different.
right. What do you mean yet? Are you planning on a campaign game? Because everybody
Oh, I don't
clamors
know.
for
Let's see.
campaign games.
Let's
Are
see
you?
how the base game. Let's see how the base game goes. There are 2 expansions out. This is sort of a
Oh,
fantasy game right here, but we've got like
right.
another game called the Tower Laboratory expansion, which is set in the
Hmm.
early 20th century, and you've got sort of a Tesla type character, and you've got a mechanic type character. Uh,
Right.
there's also a second expansion called the Cursed Library, which is um, instead of enemies, you've got characters from notorious characters from literature. It's got like Three Musketeers, and it's got Island of Dr.
Right.
Moreau, and dozens of different authors. And the authors, each hero is also an author, where you've got uh, uh, I can't remember who she wrote. Mary Shelley is in it.
Uh,
The
Frankenstein.
Yeah, Frankenstein, and you've got 4 different heroes that are different classic authors fighting against villains from their own books.
Right. Ah, that's awesome. Are they going up the tower also, or does the
Yep.
context change?
Yeah, they're also
Ah,
going up
okay.
the tower.
Yeah. Tourism. How many? So sorry. How many players does this play
It plays 1 to
for all?
4.
Wow. Oh, you can play solo, which is pretty good because everybody asks for solo. Is it very
Yeah.
different if it's solo
You just play with more heroes. Since it's a totally co-op game, it's just that one player is making all the decisions for the heroes.
for all four heroes?
You can play with as few as 2 heroes.
Oh, very cool. Okay.
So if it's a
And
solo
how would
game or a 2-player game, you'll just play with 1 hero
right,
each. Yeah,
right.
or just have a total of 2 heroes.
It sounds awesome. I love dungeon crawlers. And the fact that you can sort of you feel like it's luck based, but it's not because you can sort of plan depending on how many cubes are there and if you want to push your luck. So like I know that there are a lot of green cubes there, so I might want to put some more and then they fall out. So it's not really luck. There's a bit of strategy in it still.
Yep, you got it right. That's
Yeah.
right. That's why
Yeah.
that's what really the thing that really caught me with this game, and the reason I liked it so much is because every single room has a gimmick to it, where the
Mm,
monsters work together or the monsters work with the room in a different way to force the players to work together in a way that they didn't on the previous room. So it's not like you're just it's not like you're just doing a recycle of every single time you go through it. Every single room has very, very different ways of beating it.
very cool. Well, thank you for telling us about this game. And where do we find it? How do we get it in our hands and do the dungeon?
Kickstarter backers are getting it now. We should finish fulfillment this week, and it's going to be in retail stores October 12th.
Awesome. So we can get it then. Thank you so
Yep.
much for gracing us with your presence. Stygian
Oh,
Society.
thank
I,
you.
I was told I said it wrong. That's not Stygian, it's Stygian Society.
Stygian Society. That's right.
Yeah. Thank you
Thanks,
so
Ella.
much.